How's it going, guys? This is Byron here with the social update with Nick Slowiak. As you can see, that handsome face. And if you aren't aware, Nick is actually a former Houston Heat player. He actually just recently departed with Houston Heat for the 2015 season, right after World Cup. So he's currently a free agent. So, ladies, he is on the market. Actually, no, he's pretty married.
Wife's like, yeah, I mean, she might not like that.
As,
She gave me an evil look. Very careful.
okay, so all right, so let's kick off with the questions. So one of the funniest things is a lot of people wonder what pro players do in their like time on the day-to-day basis. So like, what do you do every day? Do you work like a 9 to 5? Do you play paintball every day? These are the questions that people have for the infamous Nick Slowiak.
Oh, yeah. What do I do? I work for GI Sports, and I've been working for them for a couple of years now. I've transitioned from just doing shipping and receiving in the warehouse to sales, and now I'm doing social media stuff via Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. I'm all over PB Nation posting. Mostly it's just myself, but that's what I do now. So. In doing that, in the social media side of things, it's like a 24-hour-a-day job. You know, in paintball, right, there's paintball's played worldwide, and GI Sports is a global company. So, um, come early in the morning, I'll wake up early in the morning. I've got messages from people in Europe. I talk to people in Australia on a daily basis, people in Europe, talk to people all over the U.S. So I deal with a lot of social media stuff. On all of the networks that you can find GI Sports on.
Sweet, man. Yeah, sounds like the dream.
It's a good time. I like it.
Yeah. And
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, so after that, diving into the deep stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah. So your first and only pro team up until 2012 was Chicago Aftershock, and then of course you signed with Houston Heat, and you guys won, what was it, 4 first place trophies, I believe, in that small time span. So what are your thoughts on the departing with Houston Heat?
Well, it was unexpected. I know a few of us had, especially after World Cup, the way that whole event went, which I guess everyone would say went pretty bad. We knew and we thought that there were going to be changes that were going to be made in regards to the Russians. A lot of us knew that they were coming back. The writing was on the wall with our chaos. We knew that they weren't going to be a team, and one of the coolest moments for me was, say, being there and watching our chaos win. Say watching them win was one thing. It actually, say watching them win actually was like deja vu for me, because I played against a lot of those guys in World Cup in 2010 when I was on Aftershock, and we lost to them 7-0, just like Tampa Bay Damage did. I felt really bad for Damage, because I know that feeling. It's a horrible feeling to be there and be like, wow, we made it to World Cup. We made it to the finals of World Cup. We're playing really well, and then just to get skunked, and that was horrible. And it was like the longest off season of my life. I was like, man, I made it. Like all the things that Matty Marshall said, and all the speeches and all the cliches you hear, you finally made it to the finals of World Cup, and toast. So back to that, I would say one of the nicest things about after that game was I was talking with Sergey, and I was like, "Hey, bro, you and me next year, we play together, yeah, bro, yeah." And I was like, "Yeah, I can't wait." And then a week later, I got cut. So, I'd say it definitely took us by surprise. I think a lot of us had thought something different was going to happen, or things were going to happen not so quickly after World Cup, that there'd be changes made to the team, and I think everyone on the team at that point knew that changes were going to happen. What they were going to be, only Randy or Jason knew, and well, now it's all history.
Right. Wow. So it was an abrupt thing. That's what a lot of people were wondering, especially myself too.
No, bro.
Right.
Byron. Sorry.
So with that said, do we have a potential rivalry on our hands for the upcoming season? Like, I know sometimes when players either get cut or part ways with the team, they play with a chip on their shoulder once they play that team again, and considering that you guys are kind of cut abruptly, would you say when you step on the field, you'll play Houston Heat 10 times harder than anyone else?
No, I mean, you go out there and you're going to play. You should play every game like the same, right? I mean, the mindset is to win. You go out there and to win. Will it affect me if I have to play against Heat? Yeah, definitely, right? And you mean you want to beat your friends and the people you've played with, that more than you want to beat somebody else. Generally, that's how that goes. I can remember playing with Chris Oseen and Drew Templeton and Ian Martin and all those guys back when it was Shock. We started as Voltage, and then people went to Avalanche, and there was Aftershock. When I had to play against Avalanche for the first time, against my friends I'd play with every weekend. Yeah, I wanted to beat them more. That was a great feeling, beating them. So, I mean, I don't know that there'll be a chip on my shoulder. I think, hey, I have an advantage, right? I've played with all those guys on that team for multiple years, some just a year. So I'll have a pretty good idea of what they're going to do. But, yeah, I'd want to beat them, but no chip on my shoulder. I think it'd be a really fun game.
Yeah.
I'd enjoy it a lot. Maybe, if he watches this, if he gets on the field, put a couple extra on the side of his leg as he walks up. It'd be nice. I'd shoot him in his leg.
Good guy, Nick Slowiak.
Can't really stretch him out that well, so I'd shoot him there.
And so there seemed to be like a little bit of confusion. Some people, for some reason, think that you might retire after this season and the news and whatnot. So just to clear things up, what are the odds we see you play paintball in 2015?
You will see me playing paintball in 2015. I'm not going to retire. I don't know that for playing professionally, yeah, I could definitely retire from playing professionally, obviously at some point in the future, but I don't know that I'll ever stop playing paintball. It's just too much fun. The weekends that I really, really enjoy myself are when I go out to my local fields, grab my autococker, throw my ribby on it, and just go out and play some recreational paintball. Those are a lot of fun. And that's where it started for me, out in the woods and just playing for fun. And not really having any cares, and so those are the things I look forward to. But as for retiring, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Cool. And have any teams approached you personally for playing for them for the upcoming season?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty short answer. Yeah.
I've talked to some teams personally. Yes, I've talked to some teams about playing.
Okay. Any idea what those teams are, or is that under wraps for now?
I have an idea of what those teams are.
Okay.
You guys will have to stay tuned to see what happens. That's not something I'd be talking about openly. But things will work themselves out. And so I've talked to teams, the PSP, the CXBL, going over and playing in Europe and the Millennium. So I'm excited about next year just to go out and actually get to play, because playing paintball's fun.
Yeah, for sure. And what are your thoughts on potentially playing on a team with Ronnie, Dizon, and John Woodley again? Is that a possibility for the upcoming season?
It's always a possibility. I'll be honest, I don't think the chances are high, right? Mm-hmm. It's just with the way teams are right now, there's only a few teams out there that they only need 1 to 2 guys, if that, right? With Vicious breaking up, a whole bunch of guys moving around this way and that way, with the new teams coming into the league, with however the PSPs and the work, the challengers and the champions, who officially comes in and down. There's a lot of free agents out there, right? But the unfortunate thing is that the teams that are around don't need 4 or 5, that many players. So would I like to play with them? Yeah, I talk to those guys every week. I play paintball with them. They're not that far down the road from me, so we stay in touch. But I don't think the chances are that high that the 3 of us will end up on the same game.
For sure. I was actually looking forward to that because 3 of you guys being from the Midwest and representing, it's pretty sick.
Yeah. It could happen.
Yeah. We will see.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the number one question that came out as far as what team you could potentially play on in the upcoming season, Chicago Aftershock. So is there a possibility we could see you play for them next year? Because I know you can't be too specific right now, but just let us know, is there a possibility?
Yeah, there's definitely a possibility. I've talked with Rennick a little bit. I've tried to talk to Bruno, but I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing.
We all know how Bruno is.
Yeah. He's out there being Bruno. But yeah, it's a possibility.
All right, for sure. And I do also hear that there's a possibility you might play for TMG Outlaws and play beside Cody Mikowski again. And also, with that said, has your sister potentially pressured you into signing with the Outlaws for the upcoming season?
No, my sister hasn't pressured me in any way to play with her husband, my brother-in-law, ex-teammate Cody Mikowski. Yeah, it's been brought up. My mom actually brought it up before my sister did, so that's funny you mentioned that.
Nice. So your mom would be the one to pressure you in.
No pressure from my mom. She just brought it up.
Nice. All right, now a couple of questions off subject. Who would you say is the best player that you've ever played with on a team?
The best player? Yeah. I'd put Fedorov and Sergey and Mishka. I mean, playing with those three, and it's no secret as to why those guys win tournaments and have won as many as they have together. But in as much, one of the things I'll take away the most from Heat the first 2 years was just getting to play with those three.
Yeah.
And watching them play and watching the things they do. The way Fedorov can just move around the field and how he sees things and how he could just put a paintball on somebody. When there's, if you're going to have three guys shooting at him, right? One guy shooting directly at him and two guys from Chad George from the Snake. You can have Ryan Dizon from the Dorito side, and I could be shooting at him right up the middle, and he'll still come out, wrap around the bunker, and somehow shoot all three of you with 2 balls. Figure that one out. I don't know how it works. The way Sergey can get so small and play a bunker as tight as he does and just make things happen and be as consistent as he does. He doesn't get as much credit as he should, but that's pretty unbelievable. And then Mishka, his dedication to just helping people out and working with them, his crazy snapshot, and it's been a blessing to be able to play with those three guys and to learn from them. So in playing with them, to single anyone out, that's been great. I'm getting a chance to play with Ryan Greenspan was a great time. When he played with Heat in the Millennium Series. There's a lot of players I've learned from over the years, Brian Fow, Jeremy Salm, Rennick himself, that have had a pretty big impact on me and how I play the game, and have definitely given me a different outlook on things. So I don't know that I can single someone out individually, but there's been a lot of people that I've been really fortunate enough to step on the field with, against, and with, and I've learned something from all of them.
Yeah, I think we can all respect that. The Russians, of course, being some of the most winning players in paintball today.
Yeah. The statistics that those guys have for the PSP and World Cups is astounding.
Right. Yeah. And with that said, too, if you could add or remove any one rule in the PSP for next season, what would it be?
Ooh, add or remove any one rule in the PSP. Geez, I don't know. That's a good question. Well, when it comes to champions and challenges, I think they definitely need to do something. They need to make a decision on what they're going to do for teams going up and down. I'd say, and this has been voiced a couple of times by different people for a year or so now, but I'd like to see if they're going to be doing the up and down moving, see the challengers teams that are moving to have a chance to move up play a champions team that are looking to move down. I think that'd be cool to do. I'd really like them to make a decision on coaching. Right? It's gone from you can yell whatever you want from the pits, and then from the spectator side to can't talk anything from the pits, to now you have to be in the bleachers and you can't be standing up. I miss it when everyone can yell. I liked that you could have a coach go all the way to the 50 and yell at stuff, kind of like in the CXBL. I think that's a lot of fun when you could do that and when you used to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess a more solid standing on what's going to happen there, because there's always going to be issues, but I don't know. Out of those two things, I think the champions and challengers, I'm interested to see what rule they come up with for that next year. That, and then when are they going to release the layouts? Is that the time frame going to change? what new bunkers. I don't know. Again, I guess there's no certain one set rule I'd like to see change. I'd like to be shooting 12.5 again.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
12.5.
I think you're not the only one along with that.
You know what? Do an interview with all the new challengers teams coming up and ask them how they like 10 balls a second. I'd like to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that concludes all of the official questions. We actually asked on Facebook, and I'm sure you've seen it as well as everyone else, if our viewers had any questions for you. And I picked a few of the most important questions, of course. So Corey Rome asked, is there anything off the field you would do to gain an edge or become a better player that isn't typically like a thing that everyone else shares?
I know, say on my computer back, every time the PSP layout comes out, my backdrop on my computer is the layout. So I'm constantly working in social media and being on my computer all the time. I'm constantly looking at that and thinking about things. I have a couple great resources in a lot of local fields here where I can go and play new drills during the week and kind of do my own thing, which is always nice. But you have to be, say, Grayson Goff, I'll give him credit for this. He coined it, like, become a student of the game. Really think about all the things. You've got a great resource in PB Access and going back and watching videos. And you have to ask yourself, why do you think that person made the move? If you can critically look at those things and ask those questions in your head, or if you can get with your teammates and do it, that'll give you an edge, right? Try and open it up for discussion and figure it out why people make moves. But I don't know that I do anything differently. I mean, I live, eat, and breathe paintball, right? Whether it's work or just going out there and playing. So maybe that gives me an edge. But you can't lose the desire to win and wanting to do it, right? If you're questioning that about getting up and going to the field, or do I really want to play today, or going out there and after you set your mind, you say you're going to go out and do drills and go out there and you just shoot a pole or shoot a puddle or something, then you really need to reanalyze your mental game and what you're doing, because if you really want to get better, man, you got to push yourself, and if you're not doing that, then it's kind of just a waste. So get your head right.
All right. For sure. And Patrick Moyer asks, if a taco and a grilled cheese sandwich had a fight, who would win and why?
Grilled cheese, man. You know why? Because grilled cheese is America.
Boom.
America wins.
Boom.
Yeah.
You heard it.
I rehearsed that one. Good question. I like that.
And Elizabeth Thomas asks, what type of shampoo do you use to keep your hair so luscious?
Backstory, I was sitting with Elizabeth Thomas, folks, at lunch, and she snapped a picture of me and posted it up. She asked me that while I was sitting next to her, and I was like, wow, someone asked that? She's like, no, I did. And I was like, wait, did you really post that up? She's like, yep. I don't know. I've got a whole slew of different shampoos in the bathroom. My mom does hair. She's the only one that's ever cut my hair, so she gives me all sorts of crazy stuff to put in there.
Nice.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the crazy mixture of stuff that gets me all going.
And last but not least, Rob Nolan asks, were you born with such an amazing beard?
No, it's no shave November. I just went for sideburns, but the beard thing, I like it.
Yeah.
Cuba beard, or Damian Ryan, or any of those other guys, or the Bornsteins. Geez, but that's pretty good. Keeps you warm. It's getting cold up here in the Midwest.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to do the same thing.
So you're looking pretty good yourself.
Yeah. Doing my best. All right, and last but not least, any final words that you have for the fans or anyone out there?
Thanks for all the support over the last 3 years with Heat. It was definitely a great ride to be able to do that. With the way things ended on Shock, with just players leaving, guys leaving to go to Infamous, and the team that we had. And Randy gave me a great opportunity to go and play for Heat, to be part of something that I didn't think was going to be real, especially when I showed up and saw Fedorov, Michigan, and Sergey standing there. I was like, whoa, there's 3 Russians in Texas right now. Something strange is going on. But, it was a great opportunity. It's unfortunate the way it ended. especially I think for the other guys, which I think all three of them have enormous potential, and it really saddens me that they went the way they do. But for hopefully, and I believe that the three of them will all get picked up and they'll play for teams and they'll have great paintball careers as long as they decide to stick with it, because the three of them are great players, right? They just have to be used to their potential. So thanks to GI Sports for giving me a job and letting me do all the things that I get to do all around the world and supporting me. Todd and Chris from Raza, who have given me a whole dresser full of awesome paintball clothes that I've been able to use. That's been great. The last 3 years with Daryl and DLX and all those guys who've taken care of all the crazy gun issues that I haven't really had have been cool. Chris from CK, great laser engraving. That's been a lot of fun. Helen, thank you for all the pictures. Social Paintball, thank you for all the crazy photos and videos that you guys do. It's been great as well. So yeah, I think that's it. That's my wrap up for my final word.
Yeah, for sure. Well, folks, this has been Byron and the infamous Nick Slowiak with the social update.
I'm not playing for those guys.
So you can actually contact Nick at official Nick Slowiak on Facebook and at Nick Slowiak on Twitter. He likes to hear from you guys, and of course he appreciates the support.